we've got Nintendo's next Direct announced, which by the time this goes live will have already happened. But we'll talk about it anyway. And then lots of Xbox news as they give us a preview at the future direction for Xbox hardware and the brand itself. But let's jump in to our game news. Welcome back to the Game News Show. I probably could say game news one extra time. But here we are. Nintendo of America posts on June 16th. Tune in at 6 a.m. Pacific time on June 18th for a live streamed Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct presentation featuring roughly 15 minutes of information about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 game. Does it need its own Direct? I don't know. I feel like they could give us just a 5-minute overview trailer, which will probably be in this Direct. So, what other news is there going to be? Maybe the next Direct will be announced at the end. But if it's focused only on Donkey Kong Bonanza, I mean, they only need 15 minutes apparently. I'm not complaining about this. I may not watch this live. This is at 8 a.m. my time. We may watch it at the beginning of the morning stream and react to it afterwards, but I'm not making a whole dedicated live stream for that. At least as of right now. I don't know, 15 minutes though? That's real short. All right, let's jump into our next topic here, and we'll take a look at the Game Pass games for, well, the foreseeable future for the rest of the month. We've got Rematch, Warcraft Remastered, Warcraft 2 Remastered, and Warcraft 3 Reforged, hitting Game Pass Ultimate and PC tiers. Call of Duty World War II on everything, Against the Storm, hitting Game Pass Ultimate, Cloud, and Console. Little Nightmares 2, hitting everything. Volcano Princess, don't know what that is, hitting Ultimate and PC, consoles everywhere. Rise of the Tomb Raider, also everywhere. Star Trucker on console, and Wild Frost, also on console, but also if you have Ultimate, obviously you will have access to that game. Otherwise, what would be the point in paying for Ultimate? But we got a few more details about the Game Pass releases. Available today, FBC Firebreak, which is having an interesting launch. I don't have a topic on it this week, but apparently matchmaking is kind of rough. But hey, it's available day one on Game Pass, which is cool. Set in the universe of Control from Remedy. It looks like a fun time, but I don't know. I guess I have to play it and see. Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time, which is cool. I'm loving seeing more and more Activision and Blizzard stuff hit Game Pass because, I mean, that just sweetens the pot for Game Pass and gets more people interested and gives us more options on stuff to play when, on the random chance we don't have anything to play, right? Yeah, that's totally a thing. Then coming soon, the list of stuff we just looked at. Warcraft, which I like that OG Warcraft, or at least Warcraft Remastered, is hitting Game Pass. That would be fun to play. Hey, Base Guru, Lulume, welcome in. I like that, I can just hop in and play those on Game Pass, no problem. I was kind of hoping these would hit console with like some kind of big announcement that they reworked the controls, but it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fun on PC. Another Call of Duty hitting Game Pass is awesome. World War II looked good. I just never played it. So now I guess there's my chance to play the story. DLC and game updates. Fallout 76 Gone Fission, that was announced at the showcase. Minecraft Chase the Skies, the update came out. Dead by Daylight, Five Nights at Freddy's, also available now. And then leaving on June 30th, Arcade Paradise, Journey to the Savage Planet, My Friend Peppa Pig, I know we're all devastated over that one. Robin Hood, Sherwood Builders, SteamWorld Dig, and SteamWorld Dig 2. So, the service does cycle stuff in and out, but a solid update for Game Pass as a whole, especially if you are subscribed on Ultimate. I think that's awesome. But let's move on. We've got a lot to talk about with Xbox. Specifically, Xbox posted today over on Twitter X, announcing that we're building the next generation of Xbox first-party devices and cloud, including our future Xbox consoles together with AMD. No shocker there. If you guys have been following Xbox for any amount of time over the last few years, they've been working with AMD since the Xbox One. So why would that change? Next level performance, cutting edge graphics, breakthrough gameplay, and unmatched compatibility. Stay tuned for what's next. They have a minute trailer. We can watch it here. There's a few interesting points made. So I'm gonna just pause it. Like we can watch the trailer uninterrupted on, I don't know, whenever. But uh next generation console. So there's like the confirmation, soft confirmation. We already expected it to kind of happen, but next generation consoles are coming from Xbox, which is kind of surprising, but kind of not when you consider the handheld. Was that a new animation? I hate to do a whole trailer breakdown. Was that a new animation for a new piece of hardware? That kind of looks new, but I don't know. Is that just the Series X, like the explosion view? I think it is. Looking at this panel of here, I don't know. Interesting if it's not. So a lot to unpack in that 1 minute, but I think the biggest takeaway we'll cover for the sake of time is the push for Windows to be the best place to play games on Xbox. I mean, with the handheld, we know that there's what those of us on the Gaming Roundtable podcast have been dubbing Xbox OS, because it's some modified version of Windows that doesn't run all the Windows things, but runs gaming stores and Windows apps for gaming. Um, so that that next gen hardware may be a PC, and I've been saying it. The handheld is a preview for what's to come, hardware wise from Xbox. The Asus ROG Ally Xbox. I don't know the order that those words go in, but that handheld is the preview for the next home console as well. That software has to be awesome at launch. And by awesome, it needs to just be out of the way. We don't need to consider what we're running on it, but not locked to a single store. Steam coming to the console as well. Epic Game Store, does is Epic Games going to get like a big picture mode and a full screen mode? That would be interesting. GOG even running on there, like that would be crazy, because some of those games are old PC games you absolutely need a keyboard and mouse to play, or just a keyboard if it's old enough, right? So yeah, big announcement for a random Tuesday in June from Xbox, especially after their showcase, but not surprising because we were all wondering what's next for the Xbox hardware side of things after the handheld drops, supposedly later this year, which we do have a story on that as well. But I'm very interested in seeing what they're building with AMD, that's supposedly different, because I know Sony is also still partnered with AMD for the PS6. And so I feel like no matter which console you want, AMD wins. I do think if the Xbox is just running that OS and plays PlayStation games, that's a hard sell for PS, like potential PlayStation owners that would also just want a PC or an Xbox. You buy an Xbox, play PC games and PlayStation games, because they're all coming to PC anyway, and you could just load up that store probably if Sony does their own PlayStation store for PC, right? I don't know what the future holds, but we can make some good guesses, and I'm very interested in seeing how this integration with Play Anywhere and this push for playing anywhere, no matter what storefront you connect to and all that, is going to work. I'm very intrigued, very excited for what's next, but wild nonetheless. All right, let's move on. All right, pre-orders for the ROG Ally will reportedly begin in August, with launch expected 2 months later. This over at VGC from Jordan Midler. The new Xbox branded handheld will support Steam, GOG, Battle.net, and more. So it's the ROG Xbox Ally X and the ROG Xbox Ally. I will say I like the grips on this compared to the OG Ally that just looked like a Steam Deck. I don't like the flat, like, wall or panel of handheld. I even the Switch 2 does it. It's just there's no ergonomics to it much at all, and it gets uncomfortable long term. So I'm hoping those handles feel like an Xbox controller. Think like the PlayStation Portal. Maybe a little more ergonomic. I don't know. Probably a little heavier considering what's all in this thing. But yeah. So let's read on. Pre-orders for the ROG Ally will reportedly open in August, with the handheld expected to launch 2 months later. The handheld, which was announced during an Xbox Game Showcase at Summer Game Fest, is a collab between Asus and Microsoft. The Xbox ROG Ally will feature Xbox branding and a bespoke operating system, adding to ROG's successful gaming handheld line. Two versions of the system will be released: the Xbox ROG Ally X and the lower spec Xbox ROG Ally. The devices are able to run Windows games purchased via PC through Xbox or from Battle.net, GOG, Ubisoft Connect, and Steam. See extra ones, social media. Let's see extra ones, extra AIs. I don't know. A social media personality with a history of providing retail information prior to official announcements has claimed that pre-orders for the two handhelds will begin in August, and that European retail data suggests they will be priced at €899 for the premium model and €599 for the base model. Interesting. The handheld will reportedly launch in October, though a specific release date wasn't provided. At launch, the Xbox Ally will be available in Australia, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Korea, Mexico, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Saudi Arabia, Singapore. Okay, everywhere. A lot of places. United Kingdom and the United States, which is the only one I care about. It's the only one that matters. Go America. With availability to follow for other markets where ROG Ally series products are sold today. So there we go. It's an announcement that follows comments from Microsoft's VP of Next Generation, Jason Ronald, who said earlier this year that any future handheld device would combine the best of Xbox and Windows, which he's quoted, I guess, the full quote down here. I would say it's bringing the best of Xbox and Windows together because we have spent the last 20 years building a world-class operating system, but it's really locked to the console. What we're doing is we're really focused on how do we bring those experiences for both players and developers to the broader Windows ecosystem. And that's where I'm very interested in this handheld. I don't I don't care about the handheldness of it, but I want to mess with the OS side of it. I want to be able to load up a boot drive on my PC here and see how this OS performs if I pretended it was a handheld and just use a controller. And can I, boot into it on my TV and just load up games and not have to run, you know, all of the things that PC games have to do before you can actually jump into the game, aside from downloading it, because I mean, you got to download it on console too. I'm just talking about jumping into like the settings and the all the different things to make the game run on your specific hardware. Very interested to see how that works with this ROG Xbox Ally hardware. Because I mean, it's Asus hardware, AMD CPU, or SoC even. Um, it's gonna be awesome. I think to see it perform. I just want to know how far does this OS go into making the gaming experience as seamless as possible, and we'll find that out. We're gonna, there'll be, I'm sure Digital Foundry will have some great videos on it. I'm very much looking forward to those, but I also want to experience it. So, and we may get our hands on one here at my house, but I don't know. I'm not really a handheld gamer like this at all. Like I very if I'm sitting in the living room, I'm paying attention to what's on TV, what people are talking about. I might be on my phone. I rarely play games on my phone. So like it's really hard for me to jump into this handheld movement outside of the Switch, but the Switch is dockable. So if this thing can dock and be hooked up to my capture card, hey, you know what? PC games are now easily played for me, but who knows who knows if that's even a thing. I assume it is. I assume it would be. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see that price point in the US though. I think the current trade and tariff situation will come into play. It could be super expensive. It could be unobtainable for some people. I don't know. These things are always a high ticket item. I think it's going to be a very niche sales target that's marketed towards. But hey, it's going to be cool. All right, let's move on. All right, we got an update on Marathon. Uh-oh. This is from the official Bungie.net page, too. The blog, Marathon Development Update. Thank you. Not only, they start off with a thank you, not only for your passionate feedback around the marathon reveal and alpha playtest, but also for your patience while we took the time to listen closely and chart our next steps. Through every comment and real time conversation on social media and Discord, your voice has been strong and clear. We've taken this to heart, and we know we need more time to craft a marathon into the game that truly reflects your passion. After much discussion within our dev team, we've made the decision to delay the September 23rd release. Oh no, nobody could have seen that coming. Honestly, I half expected this game to straight up get canceled and never release, but a delay is good. That means the people that enjoyed the alpha provided enough feedback that they were confident in a full release at some point. I'm very interested. How long is this delayed for? It's just delayed. Like there's nothing else specific in this. I don't think. Um, but also, I don't know if I agree with we've taken this to heart and know we need more time to craft marathon into the game that truly reflects your passion. Shouldn't the game reflect the developers and like the artist team's passion? But then again, with the whole stolen art situation, is there any passion? If the devs are working at a toxic work environment, is there any passion to craft a good game? Or are we just trying to make a product to put on the market to meet a need that nobody really asked for anyway? Um, I'm just interested in what direction they're headed to meet the players' passion for Marathon. I think that would require maybe re-releasing the old Marathon games so that everyone who didn't play the original Marathon, which is probably most gamers, could maybe have a chance to experience it. I think they did do that on Xbox Live Arcade way back in the day. We got a remake, re-release. It was like a remaster. I don't know how well that went, and I don't think you can play it now unless you have a 360. So maybe look into that. Maybe re-release that everywhere and make it accessible. Maybe All right, let's read on. I don't want to act like I know how to run Bungie. The alpha test created an opportunity for us to calibrate and focus the game on what will make it uniquely compelling. Survival under pressure, mystery, and lore around every corner, raid-like in-game challenges, and Bungie's genre-defining FPS combat. We're using this time to empower the team to create the intense high stakes experience that a title like Marathon is built around. This means deepening the relationship between the developers and the game's most important voices, our players. Nothing I saw. I didn't play the alpha, so maybe I'm not understanding. But nothing I saw in anything they showed, including streams I watched of people playing the alpha, felt like intense, high stakes experiences. Um, I don't know. I feel like there's more work to be done on that side for sure. Over the next few months, we'll continue closed testing, including participants from the alpha to deploy gameplay updates and test new features as they come online. Some of our immediate focus areas will be upping the survival game, more challenging and engaging AI encounters. That's cool. More rewarding runs with new types of loot and dynamic events expected, making combat more tense and strategic. That could probably help. Doubling down on the Marathon universe, increased visual fidelity, more narrative and environmental storytelling to discover and interact with, a darker tone that delivers on the themes of the original trilogy, which would be great. Tie it back to the OG Marathon so people know where this game is anchored while doing something new. That would go a long way. I like the idea of environmental storytelling. If I'm running around a world and I find an audio log or a journal. Now, half the time, if I have to pause and read, and games like Honkai Star Rail are like notorious for this. A lot of the backstory for like the areas you're in are in these quick reads, but it's like that's a lot of words, and I ain't got time for that. So if you could do audio logs, I think that would be preferable. Think ODST. That was one of my favorite parts of ODST was the audio log story. It was like listening to a podcast while playing the game that was about the game I was playing and took place in the universe. It was awesome, and I love that kind of experience. BioShock did that really well. Let's see, adding more social experiences, a better player experience for solos and duos. That's important because not everybody's going to play with friends, and maybe you only have one friend, right? And then proximity chat, so social stories can come to life. I don't know how this game didn't have proximity chat. Every other one of these extraction shooters that I'm aware of has some kind of proximity chat. That makes sense. You'll hear from us again later this fall when we can share the progress we've made alongside the game's new release date. Thank you again for your patience and, much more importantly, your passion. And using that word again, your continued feedback will help us make Marathon the incredible gaming experience we all know it can be. That's all fair, and I would rather know that the game's delayed and still being worked on. Maybe they can make it find more purpose than um than they launched with when they revealed this game and did the first few alphas. I don't know where they can go. I hope whatever changes that are made bring people in. I would like to be interested. I want to be interested in this game. I like the OG Marathon games. I found them, what I played of the first one, very like old school, cool, a lot of cool stuff you could find and learn, and the story just kind of unfolded as you explored. Um if they could just bring me into this world and make me kind of understand why I'm there, that would be great. I don't know. Maybe I've missed something. I'm trying to keep up with it. There's so much news. There's so many things that happen. But I think Bungie, with the powerhouse that is Destiny for them, and Destiny 2 being in the place it's in, I don't know how the marketing and communication for this game has been so miserable to like be a part of. Because like I'm reading these announcements and seeing things and going, you haven't given me a reason to care yet. And then now they've delayed it. So hey, they took the feedback. All the negative press and cyberbullying, I guess, worked. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I think they got enough backlash with the art thing and the stories of the toxic dev environment. Um, best thing they could do. Honestly, the best move was to delay it. Don't cancel it. A lot of work went into the game. Make it better. Fix the things. Release a better product. And yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's move on to our next thing. All right, let's talk about Final Fantasy 16. Shadow dropped on Xbox during the game showcase, and according to Peter Ovo, who's according to someone from an analytics firm, which is credited in this image as Alanea Analytics, Final Fantasy 16 has only sold 22,000 copies on the Xbox Series X and S. And he follows it up with a pathetic showing. And I think this is an amazing stat to look at. The game was shadow dropped. It has been out a couple of years. I think most everybody that really wanted to play it played it on PlayStation or PC already. I think the people on Xbox that wanted to play it, such as myself, are getting it, will have gotten it, or maybe waiting on a sale. I don't know, but it's just mind blowing that this game could sell 22,000 copies in a week, and I don't know if that doesn't tell you the state of the Xbox console ecosystem. I don't know what does, but it is Play Anywhere. I do think if you're an Xbox fan and you like RPGs or Final Fantasy, this is a solid pickup. I started playing it. I played it for about 3 hours on Saturday on stream, and I had a good time with it. It is definitely a lot darker and more gory than Final Fantasy has ever been, as far as I know. But I'm enjoying my time with it. I want to know more about the story. I want to play through it. I'm glad it finally came to Xbox. That's all I'm saying. It's a great release. It's weird. On the flip side, though, we got from Hazador Gaming, Dragon of Dojima. I don't know who this is, but I saw this retweeted from a few people. Final Fantasy 16 Complete Edition is now in the top paid games, number 11 on Xbox US Store. Now, if that includes PC and consoles, or if it's just PC or just consoles, I had no idea. I don't know. But what I find interesting is that it only sold 22,000 copies, but that 22,000 was enough to put it in the top 15. Not the top 10. We're one shy of that, but the top 15 games being sold on the US Xbox Store. I think that says a lot. So who knows? I think the Play Anywhere aspect is definitely a big selling point that Xbox has to communicate better. Because just putting a little graphic or telling me it's Play Anywhere doesn't really give me like the comprehensive benefit of Play Anywhere. I think they need to beat it over our heads that, hey, you can buy this on PC but play it on Xbox or buy it on Xbox and you have it on your PC or handheld PC or whatever devices that they're going to start throwing in there. Um, if I buy it on Xbox, you can play it on cloud, but we don't know that yet because you can't play all your own games on cloud. That's the next thing they need to work out for Play Anywhere. Because if I buy this game and it says Play Anywhere, but I can't play anywhere, then it's a lie, right? And so I think that's kind of like the mixed messaging here. I also think a lot of people expected this to hit Game Pass and not just hit the store for sale, and that could affect the numbers too. Maybe it hits Game Pass later, but we do have Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out later this year as well, so maybe that's not likely. I do remember the early days of Game Pass when we had all of the classic Final Fantasies you could get on the Xbox Store available for Game Pass subscribers, and that was amazing. And I wish they still had that. Also, the Kingdom Hearts games were in there, and that was cool. I wish that Square would kind of come back to that, but maybe they didn't make enough from that deal to keep it there. I don't know. I don't know the details of what goes on behind the doors at Square or Xbox, so I won't pretend to. But interesting that this game is selling, but maybe not as well as Square had hoped. I think with the next big Final Fantasy, it's got to be a multi-platform launch if they want to see good sales across the board. But the state of next gen will also play a big part of that as well. So it remains to be seen. It's gonna get wild out there, y'all. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Borderlands 4. After Randy Pitchford decided to pull the hey, you'll find a way to pay $80. Borderlands 4 pre-orders open at $70, avoiding feared $80 price tag. This on TechSpot from Rob Thubron. I hope I said your name right. And he asked with the tagline, was it all a PR stunt? To that I say maybe, but is $70 that much better than 80? I mean, look, I'm not claiming everybody's financial state's really great, but if that $10 difference is what's driving you to buy this game or not buy this game, maybe reevaluate your situation, right? I'm not trying to say don't hear what I'm not saying with this. I'm just saying I don't think a $10 discount of the expected $80 price is that big of a deal. The situation around Borderlands 4's potential $80 price has seen outcry, outrage, and a very poorly worded X post. Poorly worded? No, that was a very poor X post from CEO Randy Pitchford. But fear not, the game is now available for pre-order at $70 for the standard version. With more new games costing $80, there were fears that Borderlands 4 would follow this trend. But the game has landed on Steam ahead of its September 12th launch with a $70, 60 pound, €70 price tag. That's for the standard edition. There's also a $100, 90 pound, €100 deluxe edition that comes with the Bounty Pack bundle, post launch DLC consisting of new areas, gear, weapons, etc., and a weapon skin. Sure. So deluxe standard. Oh, they brought a chart. I hate charts, guys. When you have to do this, this is too complicated. Video games are not supposed to be complicated. They're supposed to be fun. Stop doing charts. Those who are likely never concerned about the game's price might opt for the $130 Super Deluxe Edition, which adds the Vault Hunter pack, new Vault Hunters, missions, regions, etc., and cosmetics-filled ornate order pack. Details about when these post-release DLC packs launch will be revealed at a later date. I don't think you should be buying a promise of DLC that doesn't exist yet. Likely, it's cut content that they are expanding a little bit and then doing a whole extra DLC for. But I don't think you should pre-order DLC. That's dumb. And that's what this is. If you pre-order the edition that has the DLC, eventually, you're pre-ordering DLC for a game you don't even have yet. And I think that's stupid. In May, Pitchford responded to an X post from a fan concerned about Borderlands 4 having an $80 price tag. The CEO said it was not his call and that if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. This obviously didn't go down well, especially with the commenter who noted that they had purchased every Borderlands related release since 2009. I don't think you saying you're loyal to Gearbox means anything. That's what they expect you to do as a consumer. And I feel like I'm being really bleak tonight. I'm not being. I'm just trying to be real here. yeah, buy all the products, you know, but your loyalty is misplaced. Like your expectation of like reciprocated loyalty, it's lose it. The company does not care about the individual. They care about sales numbers. That's all that matters to these people. And maybe the individual devs see this and go, "Ah, you know, he's been a supporter. He's been with us the whole time." I don't think that matters. And that we need to lose any concept of I've bought every one of these games. I feel like I should be respected by the company. No, they don't know you. They don't know me. They don't know any of us. Pitchford previously revealed that Borderlands 4 production costs were twice as high as Borderlands 3, and there's tariffs for the retail packaging to consider. He added that it would ultimately be down to the publishing house to decide the price. And that's when he said, on one level, we've got a competitive marketplace where the people that make those choices want to sell as many units as possible, and they want to be careful about people that are price sensitive, Pitchford told a PAX East audience. There are some folks who don't want to see prices go up, even the ones deciding what the prices are. There's other folks accepting the reality that game budgets are increasing, and there's tariffs for the retail packaging. It's getting gnarly out there, you guys. I mean, he's not wrong with that. Like, I don't think everybody wants prices to go up, but I think some people are excited to see big number get bigger, even if it's not really. You know, like there's no more value being added. Just big number go up. Her. Pitchford celebrated Borderlands 4 sticking to its $70 price in a recent X post. They're showing you, so please show them, he wrote. He appears to be asking people to say thanks for not having to pay more by pre ordering the game. Thank you, big corporation, for not charging me more money, but still charging me a lot of money. I appreciate it. Nah, yeah, kick rocks with that. I'm going to wait for a Steam sale or an extremely discounted price. 12 months? I give it 6, but 12 months realistically, it'll be $30 guaranteed. Oh man, you look at this stuff and it's like, what are we expecting here? Just don't buy it at $80. You don't need a day one. It's okay. Whether this is all a PR move designed to increase pre-sales, as some have speculated, it is unclear. Or it's unclear if this is all a PR move, though it wouldn't be totally surprising. One of the companies that has no qualms about introducing an $80 price tag is Microsoft. It recently announced that the first game to cost this much will be The Outer Worlds 2, which will also be on Game Pass from day one. Which is, yeah, there's rumors of Game Pass going up because of $80 games. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I might reconsider my own Game Pass subscription if that happened. But that's where we are. I mean, game costs, development for the AAA space is getting out of hand, and I think we'll start seeing smaller budgets be the norm for smaller games and smaller teams. And yeah, I hope, you know, like I don't want to see anything fail that anybody's worked on. I think Borderlands 4 has an audience and a very loyal audience, and that's, you know, when you have a good community around your game, that's something to be proud of. That's something to definitely not take advantage of in a negative way, but to definitely let them have feedback on, you know, parts of the game. And hopefully it's good. I hope it does well. I like that it's coming out on every platform available at the time of launch. I mean, they even got Nintendo on it at launch. That's crazy, right? Usually you get the Borderlands like downscaled edition. That's, I don't know. That's probably not what it launched like on the Switch, the OG Switch. But anyway, it's just weird. I don't know. Is a $10 savings really gonna satiate the angry masses? I don't think so. Hey, Denal, thanks for that lyric, man. But I just think that, yeah, okay, good job. It doesn't cost $80, thanks, but it's still not. It's still $70, and you're pre-ordering DLC if you pre-order this game. So be careful, right? All right, let's move on. All right, let's talk about the Switch. From Switch Tools, my Switch 2 test has been banned after using the MIG switch with perfectly legal dumps of my own cartridges. So it would seem that Nintendo can detect something. Similar reports on Reddit are starting to come in. I strongly recommend that you do not use the MIG switch. It was already very risky to use, but it is even more so on Switch 2. And yeah, this is gaining a lot of traction. I mean, it's sitting at 2.5 million views just this post alone. But this is gaining a lot of traction because the Switch terms of service, the Nintendo terms of service said they can disable your console if they detect mods or alterations. The Mig Switch technically isn't that. I don't think. I don't know. Where would that fall in? You guys can let me know in the comments. But um I think that yeah, I mean you're not playing an OG cartridge. You know, they're gonna have opinions about that. Um I wouldn't use a MIG switch on the Switch 2 personally. It's a funny test, I guess, but yeah, you can't get online with it anymore. I saw where people were trying to put different accounts on their Switch 2, and it is a hardware ban. There's a hardware ID that they are using, and once it's blocked, it's blocked. Now, maybe you could reach out to support, you know, maybe explain, hey, I didn't know what would happen. I don't know that they'll have any empathy for you, but hey, it maybe is worth calling support and trying to get your console unbanned, especially if you bought it secondhand. You would hope, because if I bring this to like GameStop, they're not putting it on the Wi-Fi and trying to get on the eShop with it. I think that's something they're going to need to do at a certain point if it's a potential hardware ban. But who knows? Who knows what that looks like? But anyway, it's odd. But yeah, I wouldn't use the MIG switch. We covered it a lot last year when it was being talked about when it launched. Very curious what happens to Spawn Wave's Switch 2, because he's done some videos testing out the MIG switch on the Switch 2. It'll be interesting to see if it still works after all this. All right, let's move on. Actually, I don't know. Is there anything left? Are we done? No, we have more. Because of course we have more. Here, I thought this was interesting. 2,810 Switch 2 units were stolen out of a truck headed to GameStop from Nintendo of America. The total loss of stolen goods is more than 1.4 million, and the case is ongoing. So very interesting. Somebody knew that truck was being loaded with Nintendo Switch 2 hardware and decided to rob it. So I'm sure eBay will get approximately 2,810 units, or Facebook Marketplace. 2,810 listings on Facebook Market for a Switch 2 good condition. They'll probably bash the box in a little bit and be like, never touched, you know. Yeah, it's wild. Not surprising. I think we saw similar stories when the Switch 1 launched, especially when it was unavailable at a lot of places where shipments were getting hijacked and misplaced. I don't know. I don't know what was going on there, but this definitely is theft. Wild. Yeah, good luck to the law enforcement and the people investigating this. I mean, hopefully it doesn't impact wherever it was heading, the availability of the consoles. I mean, it will for a little bit, but hopefully it's not a long-term problem. Nintendo's going to probably start having to send out their own marked armored trucks for these things, I guess. All right, and our last story. I haven't talked about Fortnite on the game news in a while, but they updated the game with a new mode, Fortnite Blitz Royale, full throttle, phone ready. This is on the Fortnite blog. I just thought it was interesting. Blitz Royale is a 32-player battle royale mode with new gameplay every match and frequent updates. The best part, victory can be yours in 5 minutes or less, perfect for playing on your phone. All opponents start with the same random medallion or unique weapon on a small map. This means everyone has the same advantage. Increase your blitz level by eliminating opponents, surviving storm circles. As you level up, get powerful weapons and power-ups, loot golden chests for even more power-ups, and golden supply drops for even more medallions. And there's a lot more details on that there. But what I find the most interesting about this mode is it's BR but super fast. And I think that's great, you know, obviously for mobile. But I also think it's great for like playing if you got, you know, a lunch break. You can get a bunch of games in. I assume it will come with its own set of passes and rewards. If you guys remember back, I don't know, before Chapter 5 started, they had like a perks system where each like round of a battle royale match you could get a new perk. This looks like it expands on that, which I'm very excited for. You know, I do play Fortnite a good bit on the channel during the morning streams, some evening streams, but mostly in the morning, and having a faster mode to get in and out of matches with would be appreciated. And there's going to be some exclusive rewards you can get for playing, getting victories, and some other things. I assume a ranked mode for this would come out eventually as well. Just curious how this is going to play on console, if it's on console. I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, Epic Games has been dropping a lot of random updates in Fortnite lately just to expand gameplay, fix issues, The Lego Odyssey mode's getting a big update. I thought that was interesting. So, they're definitely putting the work in to keep the experience fresh and not just burn out on Battle Royale and the next crazy collab. So I'm excited to check this out. We'll be playing it on stream as soon as it's available, which I think it is today or tomorrow. At the time of this upload, if you're watching it on YouTube or wherever else it gets posted, it'll definitely be live, I believe. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for the game news, everybody. Kind of a quick show, 40 minutes ish. Yeah, that works. But thanks for watching. You guys let me know what you think of any of these stories or anything down in the comments below. I appreciate everybody being here, hitting like, hitting that subscribe button, hit the dislike button if you think this video wasn't great. Let me know. But comment on any of the stories I covered. I'm really interested in where Xbox is heading. As a longtime Xbox fan myself, it's always interesting to see what they're doing and trying to figure out what's next for the future of Xbox. So, if you guys have thoughts on that, definitely comment down below. And I'll see you next week on the Game News Show. But I'm going early. We're going to the movies tonight. So, see ya.